Bellina Show, Monday edition, presented by CC Electric. The Louie Bellina Show, Mondays, 12. We head straight out to the D4 Land Services hotline because we get to hang out with Mitch Light. He is with The Athletic. He's one of their editors. And Mondays, we talk college football, national scene, national level. Mitch, I wanted to start with congratulations because we made it. It is week 0. And we will have college football this weekend and games that we actually want to watch for a week 0.
I agree. It's not much. Some has been made of a less than robust week 1 schedule, but I'd say week 0 is better than typical. North Carolina, TCU in the early window, NC State, Virginia in the mid-afternoon, Memphis, UNLV, two of the best G6 teams at night. It should be a pretty, hopefully, an entertaining day of football, but it doesn't really matter how entertaining it is.
It's football.
We're going to watch it, yes.
After 8, almost 9 months now, it's football. You know, it's baseball, Ray, baseball. It's football, Mitch. It's football. We have made it. Look, we got to jump into, of all that's happened in college football over the past, since NIL, since we got this new transfer portal, I think we've reached, I don't know if it's the new low or the new weird, but the Cleveland Browns have waived tight end Daquan Wright so he can enter the transfer portal and play for LSU this year. And that sentence, or if that's a 2-sentence statement, is everything I think wrong and confusing and just so screwed up right now with college athletics.
Yeah, I think you hit it. It's almost a new weird, not necessarily a new low. New low would suggest, at least in my opinion, that it's harming the sport. Like this, the flourish, or these guys who are leaving NFL camps, and he's not the only one, but he's the only one that looks like he's going to definitely sign. It's a short-term problem based on the 5-year, the 5 and 5, and then, not giving the blanket eligibility to the class of 22 guys. We're not going to see this in the future. So this is a few weeks flurry of this stuff happening. Most of them are not impactful players. Now, Wright was a good tight end. He could help LSU, but interestingly enough, that's at a position of strength. They've got Trey-Dez Green there, one of the best tight ends in the country. So it's just weird and funny, and it gives everyone the opportunity to just say, what in the world are we doing here? Everyone roll their eyes. Those that don't follow college sports that closely, who have kind of heard us talk about how things are screwed up, this is an example for them that they can clearly understand how things are screwed up. So it's just weird.
It's weird, but also, if there was any school that was going to do this,
yes,
tell me, it's LSU, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could say it's Lane Kiffin, and that's probably true. He would have done it at Ole Miss, but the combination of Lane Kiffin and LSU is like two perfect storms colliding together. So it's just, and another thing that's funny and weird and sad and all that stuff, people have been retweeting Greg Sankey's comments, how the SEC wants rules and wants to be governed. You can't say your league wants to be governed when you got coaches doing, or a coach doing stuff like this, and there's the whole SEC transfer thing, which might not come into play here. So coaches are doing everything they can within the rules, sort of, to improve their roster. Now, it's the other debate. How much is it worth it to disrupt your chemistry this late, to bring a guy in who's going to take snaps away from someone else who's been there since January working out with the team? Lane Kiffin, of all coaches, probably is not concerned about that because he's been able to, in the transfer portal era, kind of deal with all this stuff. For all you can say about Lane Kiffin, I don't think there's been chemistry issues at his team at Ole Miss, or none that we've heard of from the outside. But I think it's something coaches need to decide. And is it worth disrupting, if you're bringing in a backup defensive end who's going to get just a few snaps a game, have you really improved your team? Then you got the whole roster limits. I don't know how many teams are at the 105 or 103, whatever it is, but are you kicking someone off the team to bring someone else in? We don't know that. but that's another issue. So, yeah, I'm not surprised Lane Kiffin is the one doing it. I would just question, again, saying that these coaches will do anything to improve their roster 0.5%. You got to look at, the collateral damage of something like this.
I think most players won't care as long as they get paid. That's just my knee-jerk reaction. Like, all players want to win. So if it improves, so the players around this decision won't care if it helps them win and they're still getting their checks. I think.
Yeah, I would think for the most part. I think there could be isolated cases of a guy just getting squeezed out, and some people are fine with it if it helps the team win. Some people aren't. Some people are just me, and I'm screwed. This was not fair to me, and I'm going to cause a problem in the locker room. We obviously don't know stuff like that, but it's just. Hopefully it passes soon, like passes as in, we're past this point. There was another one, the former Georgia player, going to enter the portal. I mean, he's not going back to Georgia, but we're literally in week 0. I mean, at some point, when can you join a team? I think LSU classes start today. They have to be enrolled in some sort of class, even if it's an independent study, if they've graduated. It's so there's some logistical things now. Some other schools are in the quarter system and don't start for 3 weeks or a month. So that's a different issue, less of an issue, obviously, at places like that.
Well, wasn't it the Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman last week, end of the last week, matter of fact, who came out and said, we can't do this. We have academic standards, and we've already started our class. He said they could not. I mean, is Notre Dame at a competitive advantage, or is he just publicly positioning himself?
Well, classes I don't think had started yet. I think his point was, and I saw the quote, was we're coming to the point now where we couldn't really do it, or it would be too much to ask. Like, if they had a chance to improve their roster like a lot, my read was it's something they would investigate. But for these guys, it's not. Like the guy who's one of the guys, I forgot his name, defensive lineman who's allegedly going to LSU. He was a rotational player. He was a 4-year guy at Notre Dame, but he was a rotational player. So, are you going to disrupt things on your campus? Schools like Notre Dame that have more difficult admissions and stuff like that, you can get guys into school. You can bend the rules, so to speak, or push the envelope, but you can only do it so much, and you don't want to anger the academic people on your campus. And so it's not worth it for a rotational guy. I remember Kevin Stallings once told me, longtime Vanderbilt coach, is like, admissions here, they're great to work with, but don't screw them. Like, I can't go to them and say, yeah, this kid's great, he'll do the work, whatever, and then he's there for a month and gets kicked out of school or never shows up to class or something like that. So it's like, you can't embarrass the academic people on campus. You can't make the admissions people look bad. That was my interpretation of the Notre Dame situation, because Notre Dame is a good school. They have standards, but they're getting guys into school, and not what everyone else can get in. But it's not like Jeremiah Love or C.J. Carr. All the football players are meet the standards of other students there. So that was my interpretation of Marcus Freeman.
So you're gonna be like LSU or Texas, where you don't have standards.
I'm not touching that question,
Mitch. That's why you're here, is for the hard hitting questions.
I will not be baited into speaking poorly of the University of Texas on your show.
What show would you? So I can tune in and listen then.
That's a good question. I'll let you know.
Mitch Light of The Athletic on the D4 Land Services hotline. And if you need help with your land, like fixed up, cleared, excavated, d4landservices.com. How about some forestry, mulching, pond construction? You need a custom metal building from the ground up, d4landservices.com. Mitch, have you played with this idea of where's the finish line with this? How do we get uniformness? How do we get common sense inserted? How do we stop going backwards and spiraling? How do we move forward to a finish line?
That's a great question. I don't know
you're
if
not going to answer that one either. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, yes. Can we stick to football, Louie? No, just kidding. Sort of, not really. But as we've talked over the years, I pay attention to all of the legal stuff, but I don't. Fortunately, part of my job, we have other editors who deal with writers who dip their toes in this much, so I'm probably not as well versed in all this. I mean, it seems like collective bargaining, where you can actually have real rules, but then that opens up other issues on campuses with other athletes, and you have to make all sports athletes, employees? Can you just do football, basketball players? Like, can you have? I mean, some schools in the Big Ten sponsor a lot of sports. That's a lot of employees. So they're from a strict football, basketball, the ones making baseball and some women's basketball. I would think collective bargaining, so you can enforce your actual rules. And it's in the collective bargaining agreement. It says this. That is law. The Protect College Sports Act looked like it had some momentum there. It still had some things in there that seemed like players could still sue and get around. So I don't know that the end is in sight. And a sobering thing was, I don't know if you saw it, but one of our writers, C.J. Moore, interviewed Dusty May, obviously who left Michigan because he was frustrated with college sports and the coach of the Mavericks. And I think the quote was something like, I went to the Big Ten, like one of his last straws was he went to the Big Ten coaches meeting, and this is 2 or 3 years into all this chaos, and he said we were no closer to the finishing line than we've ever been. Everyone just throwing their hands up and saying, what are we going to do? And so he was just like, forget this, like the end is not in sight, at least in his mind, and he obviously knows a lot more about it than either one of us. So I don't really have a good answer for you when the end is in sight.
Yeah, the base concept is it still might get much worse before it gets better.
Right, and we probably had a similar conversation last year and 2 years ago.
Boy. Well, Mitch, you want to talk football? Fine.
Sure.
Because here's the football, Ray, football. Florida State quarterback Tommy Castellanos, who upset Alabama last year, is expected to land at Texas Tech. And again, part of the bizarro that we live in, that Texas Tech, who they need a quarterback for at least a month, right? Looks like they might have their guy.
Yeah, and Kirk Francis was the backup they signed from Tulsa, who has experience, but obviously they've seen enough of him in the spring and preseason camp that they don't think he is good enough. Castellanos is at his best. He's a dangerous quarterback. He's a fun player to watch. He's a guy that if you're playing a really good team and it's 3rd and 10, I don't know if you trust him to get that first down if he has to throw the ball, but they can get by with him. He's got a lot of experience, played several years, played at UCF, Boston College, and Florida State. Obviously, he beat Alabama last year. They could do far worse. They're just trying to wait until Will Hammond gets healthy. I think the ceiling on this team is much greater with Will Hammond at quarterback than Tommy Castellanos.
Well, I'm pulling up the Texas Tech football schedule because if they just need to survive for a month, and remember something, they kind of play a 1 month schedule, a 1 team schedule. Okay, in the first month, Abilene Christian, I can lead them to a dub. Oregon State, you can lead them to a dub. Sam Houston State, they just could run the ball every play and get a dub. The one matchup is Houston in Lubbock. Houston is a top 25 team, but still not on their tier. But can Castellanos handle getting them the win against Houston?
Yeah. I mean, I would in Lubbock with Tommy Castellanos quarterback. Yeah, they'd probably be a 7.5 point favorite, and that's assuming that Hammond's not back by then. That's 4 weeks into the season, so I don't think we really know. For those, I'm sure most of your listeners know, coming off a torn ACL last season, and guys are coming back sooner than ever, but everyone's body is different, so you don't know. And obviously, they've got very high goals this year, so the last thing you want to do is bring someone back early. So definitely worth something to monitor there. But I think they could beat Houston at home with Castellanos.
Yeah, it's week 3. I didn't do them in order. I just kind of went by the whole first month, but same difference.
Oh, okay.
Wait, 1 week difference.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought they played them earlier. It's week 2.
Week 3, Houston, September 18th.
Friday night.
Yep.
Friday night. Yeah.
And then finally, the game that they need, their best for, the first one is Arizona State on October 17th, and that's dead middle of the season. And then TCU is their marquee regular season matchup in the final week. I mean, that's their schedule.
Yeah, the schedule, lots been made of it, but it's just not very difficult. Their non-conference, Oregon State really struggled last year, so their non-conference schedule is bad, and I'm just looking. How many...
Their schedule is a mutt fest.
Yeah, real quick, just so your listeners, at Colorado, Arizona State, at Cincinnati, Arizona, West Virginia, at Oklahoma State, at Baylor, TCU. Now, Arizona's pretty good. Great quarterback in Fafita. I think Oklahoma State's going to be much, much improved there. That's not a just chalk up sure win, especially with Mestamaker quarterback, but that is clearly not a very difficult schedule.
No. There's not a lot of sweat involved. Hey, Mitch, quick timeout. Come back, and we'll return and talk football, Ray, football.
Sounds good.
Mitch Light of The Athletic on the D4 Land Services Hotline every Monday at noon. He'll join us. We'll talk college football, the national scene, the national level. Still Creek Mechanical, they're ready to make you comfortable again and to do it right away. Still Creek Mechanical, they service all makes, all models. They want to treat your home like it's their home. What do? AC. It doesn't matter what make, what model. Call Still Creek Mechanical, 979-595-4253, or the internet. How many times can you check your email at work today? Look them up online, stillcreekmechanical.com. Set up, schedule an AC consultation. Make sure you're not wasting money. It's working too hard. When was the last time you even had your AC checked out? You're spending too much money on that electric bill and you wonder why? StillCreekMechanical.com. Schedule your AC consultation. Guess what? If your AC needs repairs, $100 off of all repairs. Just say, Louie Bellina Show or The Zone, $100 off of all repairs with Still Creek Mechanical.
Listen to the Houston Astros on The Zone, thanks to Kelly Berdozer.
The Louie Bellina Show. You might know that by now. Now, still to come, the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, still to come on a Monday. Olin Buchanan, 1 to 2. He takes the final hour. Now, he's not normal to Monday, to be clear. He's Tuesdays at 1, but fall camp, Aggie football. Last Tuesday, this Tuesday, they've been working, and Olin's got to work too. I'm like, huh? What else do you do? And he walked out on the room. He didn't even answer that. So anyway, Olin Buchanan today, Monday, 1 o'clock inside the Charles Schwab studio. We'll hang out the whole hour. Whole lot of Aggie football, whole lot of maroon and white going on when OB joins me. Then next week things change. Monday's 1:30, Mike Elko Weekly Media Day. Every game week, 1:30, Mike Elko live from his Weekly Media Day. Olin's back at Tuesdays at 1. I don't know if you use like reminders on your phone or sticky notes on your hand. That's stupid. Don't do that. So, OB today at 1. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. There's a good chance you recognize that as my text message number. Also my phone number. But people text. You don't have to stay on hold, and then you can just sit back and listen. And 979-693-1150. What is on your mind as we're 12 days out from Aggie football kickoff, Missouri State? Just text. That's the easiest way to get it done. 979-693-1150. I do want to jump into the weekend that was, and it was an epic disaster. Astros, Rangers. Rusty Burson texted me earlier, and it was a simple, the woeful West is just wretched. That's the AL West. And it is. Joe and I have been speculating, escalating about, will it be a sub 500 champ in the West? And I voted yes. I mean, no, I didn't vote, but I believe yes. That's a better way of stating it. The Astros had this great homestand week and a half where they played the Angels, lost the series, ended up with the A's. Well, Friday, 4-0. Friday, 4-0. Great start. You only give up 3 hits. Wisniewski, 5, 1 hit, 3 walks, 0. Bullpen was magnificent. 4 runs. I mean, you didn't exactly rip the cover, but it's a great game 1 Friday. And remember, they just lost the series to the Angels. So you're feeling down, funky. Friday was beautiful. Altuve, 2 for 4. Jordan, 2 for 3. 3 ribeyes in the game. And again, brilliant start. And that's it. The rest of the weekend was a house of horrors. Saturday, you lose 4-3, giving up 3 runs in the 8th inning. Hunter Brown gets the start. Espada accidentally pulled him by stepping out of the dugout. And I'm going to be fair. I wanted to dig deeper into the how and the what, but he stepped out of the dugout. He accidentally signaled to the pen. The umpire saw it and made him pull Hunter Brown because he didn't mean to. Holy cow. So Hunter Brown went 5 2/3 and gave up a run. Now, Hunter Brown was not having a good start. In 5 2/3, he gave up 7 hits and 3 walks. He was kind of lucky to only give up a run. That's why he probably meant to pull him, to be fair about all of this, right? Let's be fair. There's a reason why this happened, but he didn't mean to, got forced to, he screwed up. So they go to Bennett Sousa. 3 runs in the 8th. Astros blow the 3-1 lead, lose the game Saturday in horrific fashion. The good news, Varsha went 2 for 4, went yard. If he were to catch fire heading into the final month, it could be important. So the rubber game is Sunday against the A's. Worst team in baseball, one of the 3 worst teams in baseball. And it's one of, you can circle like 5 games at the end of the year, go low point, devastating losses. If the Astros go on to finish 5 games out of first, never, challenge again, circle this game. So after the horrific Saturday in which Espada accidentally pulled Hunter Brown and you blew a 3-1 lead in the 8th, they scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the fourth. You're up 6-0 end of 4. Astros are up 6-0 end of 4 and rally to lose 7-6. They give up 6 runs in the 5th. It was a Christian Javier start. And when he came back from injury, he was a really good reliever who in the few starts, he just can't go. Forget 5. He's having trouble with 4. He couldn't make 3 in this one. And as opposed to managing him with that kind of understanding, they had a big lead. And I guess they wanted to see it's the same mistake they made with Ronel Blanco. When it's obvious he didn't have it and just pulling him at the first sign. No, I got a big lead. Let's give up all of it. I watched them do it with Blanco, and it's what they did with Javier. So they brought in De Los Santos behind him, who a month ago I said, you can't trust this guy. A third of an inning, 3. So 6-0 end of 4 is now 6-6 end of 5. And that's it. 6-0 lead, you lose 7-6. Devastating. It's one of the worst losses of the year. So Jim Crane went to bed last night. The Athletic wrote 2 different stories, and they used the word embarrassing in both headlines. Astros believe we are a better team than this after embarrassing homestand. And then this morning, Jim Crane fired general manager Dana Brown. And there was another Athletic headline that said, Astros fired Dana Brown after embarrassing homestand. Like, the Athletic used the word embarrassing not once, but twice. And it's not inaccurate, but rarely have I seen the alphabet soup or any of them go that for the throat. Now, am I surprised that Dana Brown took some action after this? No. I'm surprised it was Dana Brown first. Dana Brown, unless like behind the scenes, Dana Brown has a buzzer that tells Espada how to manage the pitching staff. There's been problematic, questionable most of the season. Now, due to the lack of having enough starters, and I guess that is where Dana Brown is to fault. He made all the offseason moves, brought in a small army. It has 0 worked out. But Espada can't manage a pen for a team that's all pen. He's got 2 starters. Yeah. So maybe I'm less surprised now that I'm pausing for a moment. but I don't know how Espada walks the earth. Maybe that's a tougher change. But Dana Brown is out. And I feel sorry for Dana Brown. He's hired to be the GM by an owner that doesn't let him GM. Jim Crane is now the acting head of operations. The day-to-day has been spread out over all the assistant GMs, but he is now the head. And I don't know if this is true, so I'm not even going to say it. Allegedly, like Jeff Bagwell will help him, but I think that's got to be more meme or, people's inner horror story crawling out. That just can't be right. There's just no way. But Jim Crane is the head. I kind of feel like that Crane might have a little bit of Jerry Jones in him. Seriously. And here's the difference. Jerry thinks he could run everything. I just think that Jim Crane has minimal respect or jealousy of the GM spot, stealing spotlight from him. Just Crane has trouble with that. I believe it so. So anyway, Astros, horrible homestand, horrible weekend. Could have won all three, lost the series, hit their head on every branch falling out of that tree. The Rangers took care of business over the weekend. They took 2 out of 3. They handled the Angels. So as the smoke cleared and we woke up this morning, Astros Rangers tied. Astros Rangers are tied at 65 and 66. They're both a game below 500. Here will the AL West champ making the playoffs be sub 500. Joe Sheehan and I have played with this. Guess what Sportsline projections have? 79.6 Astros, 79.8 Rangers. Rounding up for both is 80, sub 500. Oh, Dahara. It is so painful. It is so bad. I have said before, just wake me up when it's the final weekend because this is too painful to live through. So, the weekend ahead. Astros are off today. They're going to travel. They're going to spend the entire week in New York. It's the Yankees Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The Mets Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're on the road in New York the entire week. And listen to this rotation. Pecco, Tuesday. Lambeau, Wednesday. Wisniewski, thumbs up, Thursday. Against the Mets, Hunter Brown, who doesn't know if he's about to be yanked. Javier goes Saturday, and Mike Burrows, woohoo, should return on Sunday. It's dark. It's dark out there. For the Texas Rangers, the week ahead, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the White Sox, AL Central leading. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday that's incorrect. I am right. Thursday's a travel day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Milwaukee, one of the 3 best teams. Nope, they're the number 1 team in baseball according to most power rankings. But listening to Rusty Burson, the better the team, the better the Rangers are. They just can't beat the bad teams. So they will play the AL Central leaders and the NL Central leaders this week. So the Rangers should go undefeated. It is painful right now to be an Astros Rangers fan. Dana Brown out, which considering his offseason moves, fair enough, but how is Espada still walking? That's my question. When we come back, when we come back, we got to get out of here, at least for the lunch hour. And lunchtime on the Louie Bellina Show always is thanks to Rudy's Barbecue. DraftKings, the sports app. It's now live in all 50 states. And that means that from Texas to California to Florida, every fan is in on the excitement. One app, every sport, all 50 states. DraftKings Game Day, it's yours. And with DraftKings, if you're a new customer, you could sign up with the code KZNEAM. KZNEAM. And when you spend $5, you get 200 in rewards within 21 days. The code again, KZNEAM. Now, event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issued in non-withdrawable prediction dollars that expire in 1 year. If you want to check out all the terms, go to dking.co/predictions promo. Nationwide based on sportsbook predictions and free-to-play sports contest. Availability varies by state.
The Money Machine is open now. Two ways to enter each week.
Oh, come on. Don't keep us in suspense.
Zone1150.com and the Zone newsletter.
Thank you.